Virginians elect a new governor in a sweep tonight for Democrats. We are in your corner with the Commonwealth's 2017 election results.
The home of Tennessee's best newscast. This is News Channel 11 at 11.
Democratic candidates swept the top political posts in bitterly contested races across the swing state of Virginia. High-stakes contest that placed the Commonwealth in the national spotlight. Good evening, I'm Sarah Diamond.
I'm Josh Smith. Political analyst said the gubernatorial race in Virginia and in New Jersey as well marked an early measure possibly of President Trump's political popularity and really how his presidency would shape the 2018 midterm elections. Virginia was the only southern state President Trump lost during the election a year ago, but the president won Southwest Virginia handily. And a News Channel 11 analysis of tonight's vote shows Democrats, while they won statewide, did not win in Southwest Virginia. It has remained firmly Republican territory. We'll have that in-depth analysis coming up.
First tonight, the governor's race. Democratic Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam defeated former Republican National Committee Chairman Ed Gillespie. Northam, a pediatric neurologist, pledged to increase spending in public education and maintain what he calls common sense gun rules. That
campaign strategy won over a majority of voters in Virginia, with almost every precinct reporting Northam got about 53, now 54% of the vote. Ed Gillespie trailed with that 45%. Here's what Northam said within the last hour.
It was said that the eyes of the nation are now on the Commonwealth. Today, Virginians have answered and have spoken.
Republican candidate Ed Gillespie ran a campaign focused on gun rights and tougher immigration rules. During Gillespie's campaign, President Trump tweeted his support for the candidate, but then after the announcement that he'd lost, the president tweeted in part, quote, "Gillespie worked hard but did not embrace me or what I stand for," end quote, from President Trump tonight, who's in the Far East. Meanwhile, Northam spoke tonight around 9 o'clock.
Obviously, wish it had gone the other way, but I thank those who voted and cast votes, even for, obviously, those who won today.
Before tonight, Republicans had not won a statewide election in Virginia in 8 years, but Southwest Virginia voters tell a different story. Curtis McLeod breaks down tonight's local numbers.
It's a very different story. In fact, a story opposite from the outcome, especially if Southwest Virginia had a big stake in all of this. Let's get straight to the numbers tonight because they truly paint the picture here. In Washington County, Virginia tonight, Governor-elect Ralph Northam had 24% of the vote, while the now defeated Ed Gillespie had about 75%. Now, when you compare that to the 2013 governor's race, the turnout was the same. Washington County voted Republican. Tonight, Wise County, Virginia reported 21% for Northam, while Gillespie had about 76% of the vote. Now, over in Scott County, Northam had about 18% of the vote and Gillespie 81%. Finally, in Lee County, Northam had 20% of the vote, while Gillespie had 79% of the vote. Now, political analysts said the outcome of this race could paint a picture of President Trump's political party, or popularity, I should say. And looking at the numbers from across the counties, Southwest Virginia, you can conclude that the president is pretty popular in that region. And we saw this, especially when we were covering the U.S. presidential election. President Donald Trump making a stop in Abingdon, a lot of support from coal country during that time.
And it seems tonight that support for the Republicans, despite the Democratic wave across the state, Republicans still have support here.
Oh, they definitely do. They definitely do have that support. And of course, we're going to continue to follow these numbers. I've actually posted them on our Facebook page, and you can see the breakdown from the U.S. presidential election and more numbers from the 2013 gubernatorial race.
All right, Curtis, thanks for your coverage tonight. We appreciate it. Well, with Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam moving now to the top job in Virginia state government, Democrats were looking to Justin Fairfax for a win in the race to replace Northam.
Yeah, Fairfax ran against Republican Jill Vogel. The lieutenant governor presides over the Senate and breaks tie votes, an important job in a narrowly divided Senate. Right now, Republicans outnumber Democrats 21-19. Fairfax is a former assistant U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. He wants to raise minimum wage to $15 and supports Medicaid expansion. Tonight, he becomes the second African-American candidate to win the Virginia lieutenant governor race, the first to win since 1989.
The Democratic sweep included the Attorney General race. Incumbent Mark Herring, who was, by the way, born in Johnson City, Tennessee, won another 4-year term as the state's top attorney. The Democrat, known for his historic support of the legal fight that ultimately led to the Supreme Court decision legalizing gay marriage nationwide, his opponent, Republican John Adams, challenged him, but 46% of the votes were for Adams. Virginia voters have spoken 47% for Adams, but 53% made Mark Herring the winner of a second term as the state's top attorney.
We've begun the hard work of building a new Virginia economy. We've cut our unemployment from 5.4% to 3.7%. We've secured $19 billion of new capital investment and created more than 200,000 new jobs for Virginians.
The Democratic wave in Virginia tonight could ultimately have an impact on who controls the Virginia House of Delegates.
Yeah, Democrats made some big gains in the Republican-controlled chamber, one that's making national headlines. Virginians tonight elected the first openly transgender person to the General Assembly. Democrat Danica Rome beat Republican incumbent Bob Marshall, one of Virginia's most socially conservative lawmakers in a Northern Virginia district.
But as with the governor's race, Republicans won big in Southwest Virginia House races. Delegate Terry Kilgore faced his first challenge in 10 years. Kilgore, first elected in 1994, won overwhelmingly tonight over a Democratic challenger, Alicia Callan.
Kilgore has held the post representing Lee, Scott, and Wise counties and Norton for 24 years. We spoke with him tonight after the win was announced.
In the next term, it's all going to be about jobs, and that's what we going to continue to fight for in the General Assembly, because we really need jobs here in Southwest Virginia. Really need more, to diversify our economy, and I think that's what we're going to continue to work on.
For the 3rd district seat, it was Democrat Bill Bunch Jr. against Republican incumbent James Will Moorfield, the winner representing Bland, Buchanan, Russell, Tazewell counties. Moorfield keeps the seat, winning by a landslide there.
And in the race for the 6th district seat for the House of Delegates, independent Keith Browning sought a win against Republican Jeffrey Campbell. Another incumbent, though, takes the win. Campbell will stay the delegate representing Carroll, Smith, and Wythe counties. 3 candidates were vying for sheriff in Bristol, Virginia.
Yeah, that after Bristol, Virginia Sheriff Jack Weisenberger announced he was not going to seek re-election. That was back in March. Republican David Maples secured 70% of the vote tonight, beating Democratic challengers Joe Mike and Randy Campbell. Joe Mink, that is, and Randy Campbell. Maples told News Channel 11 he was humbled and honored to protect and serve his community.
I look forward to working with the city, the courts, Commonwealth Attorney, and doing what we can to help alleviate some of the overcrowdedness in our jail, to help save the taxpayers of the city of Bristol, Virginia.
Bristol, Virginia, a city dealing with a massive amount of debt, so voters had to choose tonight a commissioner of revenue.
Now, the only thing that could stop the incumbent from winning tonight was a write-in campaign, and that opposition came from insurance agency owner Roger Williams. The winner replaces current Commissioner Terry Fry, who is retiring. His longtime Chief Deputy, Chloe Barker, took the win with 80% of the votes.
With my educational background and the experience of all these years, with the condition that the city is in right now, I don't feel that someone that is not experienced would not be a good fit for the office.
Now to Lee County, Virginia, where there was a remarkable landslide decision sending a strong message to school leaders tonight. A majority of the people by far were not in favor of a $47 million school board tax referendum.
Yeah, that referendum would have impacted taxpayers in order to pay for a school facility plan, calling for the closure of 6 schools in Lee County, renovating 3 others, and building 2 new schools. But now Lee County School Board Chairman Michael Kidwell says they have some major discussions ahead. This after 90% of voters in Lee County cast a strong no vote. Only 663 people, about 9% of people who voted, were in favor of this proposal. News Channel 11 spoke with Chairman Kidwell following that vote.
I think as a majority, the people in Lee County realizes that something's going to have to be done with our facilities, just not to the tune of $47 million.
As for what's next, Chairman Kidwell said the school board will meet with the Board of Supervisors December 7th to determine what can be done to address school issues and renovations in the county.
A majority in Wise County, Virginia voted in favor of allowing wine and beer sales on Sunday. Almost 5,000 people voted in favor of Sunday alcohol sales in Wise County. 42% of those who came out tonight voted against it. We want to mention New Jersey. It was the only other state to elect a governor tonight, and it was another win for the Democrats this evening.
It was. Phil Murphy will be the next governor, defeating Republican Lieutenant Governor Kim Wadano. Murphy will replace Republican Governor Chris Christie. Murphy is a former investment banker and U.S. ambassador to Germany and consistently held a double-digit advantage in the polls.
Hey, those are just some of the results from tonight's elections in Virginia. Can't get enough of coverage from the election? Hey, we're right there with you. More numbers, in-depth analysis can be found tonight on our website, WJHL.com.